How's it going, everyone? Want to talk about a couple of things in this video, particularly a pretty notable free trial will be kicking off on February the 24th. Related to that, we'll talk about some Ubisoft stats that I found rather impressive in regards to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Again, we'll cover that. Speaking of Ubisoft, coming off of the conference call as well, talked a little bit about the possibility of an acquisition. Kind of a standard statement, but I'll talk about the possibilities of that. But first of all, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be seeing a free weekend event covering February 24th until the 28th. So that'll be your opportunity to play AC Valhalla. Obviously, this is a very, very lengthy game, so that time period is not going to give you enough time to do a lot of content, but you could get a pretty decent taste of the game and see if you do like it. I should also note, come February 22nd, we'll have title update 1.5.0 for the game. So that'll be nice. The free weekend will be 24th until the 28th, and then the game expansion, Dawn of Ragnarok, will be happening on March the 10th. So they're continuing to update AC Valhalla quite a bit. We had heard rumblings of one of the expansions turning into its own full game. We'll see about that. And then AC Valhalla, again, while I'm not completely high on the newer style of Assassin's Creed game, I prefer, the pre-Origin style of game. I know there's a ton of people that prefer these style of games, how big the open world is, how much content the games have, and if you haven't given a shot to Origins Odyssey or Valhalla yet, try out the free weekend, see how you like the game. In my opinion, I did enjoy Valhalla the most out of the three games, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. I kind of just liked the setting of Valhalla, so that kind of resonated with me. Still not completely, super absorbed into it. I did love how it was 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5, though. That game ran so well, and visually it is still a stunning game, even though it is a cross-gen game. Kind of interesting that we're seeing, Horizon looks incredible, Valhalla looked pretty good, so maybe the cross-gen thing ain't the worst thing in the world, as long as we get that good old 60 FPS. But yeah, go try that out. And also, I do want to note, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, here's an insane stat. The game has earned over $1 billion in revenue. Holy hell, that is crazy. Now, obviously, there's games like GTA 5 that have hit $1 billion as well. There's quite a few games that have hit $1 billion. Sometimes we don't get exact revenue generated. For a lot of games, I'm sure the Call of Duty games obviously generate $1 billion, but $1 billion is a ton of money, and I don't believe any other Assassin's Creed title has generated that kind of revenue. So it just goes to show, as much as I complain about the double XP boost, as much as I've seen people complain about how many microtransactions there are in the game, and let's be real, the main thing that annoys me with the new Assassin's Creed titles is the double XP microtransactions. Like, if you want to do some cosmetic microtransactions, yeah, you can make the argument, hey, those cosmetics would have been in the game as unlockables outside of those microtransactions. Whatever. Like, at the end of the day, they're cosmetics. I'm not going to complain too much about that, but in the case of AC Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, you couldn't just naturally go through the main story without doing a ton of the side content because you would have been under-leveled. And I get it. You can make the argument, why are you buying the game if you're not going to do the side content? Well, not everybody has 80 to 100 hours to spend on these games, and also the double XP boost is in there in the first place for a reason. It's to make money, and I know people that have spent money on the double XP boost, and it goes to show, like, this style, like, I don't know if this is Ubisoft's MO, but it makes sense to me. The idea of releasing a game, then 2 months later, it's heavily discounted. Let's get some people to buy it, and then we'll sell them the DLC. We'll sell them microtransactions and generate a lot of revenue that way. I would imagine that AC Valhalla sold incredibly well, initially being a big launch title for the PS5 and Xbox Series, but also that game went down to like 20 bucks real quickly, and a lot of people probably just picked it up, and then they realized, hey, I kind of enjoy this game, I'm investing a lot of time into it, let me see some of the microtransactions, alright, I'll buy some of the cosmetics. Like, again, people online, sometimes it is, we're just being a vocal minority. Like, at the end of the day, I complain about a lot of things. I get like 10,000 views of video, 15,000 views of video, 8,000 views of video. Like, in the grand scheme of things, my opinion really doesn't matter. And when you see revenue and stats like this, it is kind of wild. Now, sometimes the online decorum does sometimes relate to how a game does. I point to a Battlefront 2, I point to a Battlefield 5. Those games got a lot of flack online ahead of their release, and then you saw the sales numbers for those games. They didn't do all too well. So it's not always one or the other. It's just in the case of Valhalla, I did see some complaints, or maybe it's just complaints I make up. And again, I like the game, just not as much as I like some of the other Assassin's Creed games back in the day. But I had a buddy pick up Valhalla on sale. I think he bought like the complete edition, the gold edition or whatever, and he got it discounted, and then that was kind of his in. He was like, oh, I didn't spend $60 or $80 on the game. Let me drop some money on the microtransactions. And guess what? If that's a business model that works for Ubisoft, more power to them, I guess. Not something that I'm going to go for. I was so disappointed in my boy for buying the double XP pass. He actually bought Odyssey a few weeks ago, and he bought the double XP pass right away. And I was like, bro, no, don't do this. You're literally the one justifying it to Ubisoft to continue to do this. But like, hey, if they're making money, if people are into it, if people are buying it, my opinion really means like jack all, doesn't it, at that point. Alright, moving on from that, Yves Guillemot on the conference call also mentioned that, you know, we're talking about acquisitions all the time. Activision just got acquired. That really puts anything on the table. Guillemot just mentioned Ubisoft can remain independent, but any offer to buy them would be reviewed, as noted by Daniel Ahmad on Twitter. For what it's worth, he continued as well, and this is just general lingo whenever you talk about acquisitions. That's the typical thing you say in response to acquisition talks. We're not looking to sell right now, but we'll take any incoming calls, because at the end of the day, if they get some crazy overvalued acquisition offer, a lot of companies are going to take that. They're going to at least talk about it, and that'll give them an idea of what outside parties are valuing them at, and they can always compare evaluations by everyone else. So that's just something that's typical. Do I think Ubisoft is going to be acquired? No, not anytime in the near future. I don't think Microsoft is going to do another big acquisition at the level of Activision. Ubisoft obviously not as big, but still a sizable acquisition. But Ubisoft also falls in category with a lot of the things that Activision offers to Microsoft in the terms of, you know, a lot of people are talking about the back catalog of IPs Activision has. Well, Ubisoft would offer you that as well. You're talking about the Tom Clancy IP. You're talking about, you know, what else? Rayman. You're talking about all these IPs that Ubisoft has. You'd be acquiring Assassin's Creed as well. That's a pretty notable thing to acquire. Maybe not as big as Call of Duty, but still pretty darn big. But we'll see how that ultimately turns out. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla getting a free weekend trial, February 24th to the 28th, so actually a decent bit of time. Dawn of Ragnarok, March 10th, title update 1.5.0, and the game is doing incredibly successful from a revenue-generating standpoint. As far as Ubisoft being acquired, open to calls, but at this point, they are looking to stay independent. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.